are going to see Unit 4 History part. The topic of this unit is the Delhi Sultanate. In this lesson, we will learn about Darki Sultans of various dynasties who ruled India from Delhi, their military conquest and extents of sovereignty, administration of the Delhi Sultanate, art and architecture of this period. During the 11th century, the Darkis horsemen pillaged northern India, and due to their persistent campaigns, they succeed in seizing political control. The success of their conquest would be attributed of their audacity and ferocity. Success is really due to failure of Indians to defend themselves and their territories. Indians viewed each other with distrust, failing to take note of the success of Islam in early years. The superior military might of Muslim soldiers was yet another factor. In this lesson, we discuss how Darkis warriors set about founding and consolidating their Islamic rule till the advent of Babur. Dynasties: Slav dynasty, Ghalji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, Lodi dynasty. Let's see Slav dynasty. Slav dynasty from 1206 to 1290. Muslim rule in India was established by Muhammad Ghori in 12th century AD. As he had no sons, he nurtured special slaves called Bandahan. Bandahan means a Persian term used for slaves purchased for military service. These slaves were posted as governor and they were later raised to status of sultans. After Ghori died 1206, Ghori's death in 1206, one of his slaves, Guptin Aibak, who had been left behind by Muhammad Ghori to govern the territories he had conquered, he declared himself ruler of the Darkis territories in India. He laid the foundation of the Slav dynasty. This dynasty is also known as Mamluk dynasty. Mamluk means slave. Slav dynasty rulers are Guptin Aibak, Iltutmish, Ghiyasuddin Balban. The three great sultans of this dynasty. The Slav dynasty ruled over the subcontinent for about 84 years. Qutb Aibak began his rule by establishing Lahore as the capital of his kingdom. Later he shifted his capital to Delhi. He was active all through his rule in Delhi, conquering new territories and suppressing rebellions. He personally led military campaigns to central and western Indo-Gangetic plain. Students, look at this picture. This is called Quwwat-ul-Islam Masjid. Aibak built the Quwwat-Islam Masjid in Delhi. This masjid is considered to be the oldest in India. He also laid the foundation of Qutb Minar, but he was unable to complete it. But it was later finished by his son-in-law and his successor Iltutmish. Guptin Aibak died in 1210. Shams-ud-Din Aibak. He occupied the throne in 1211 after death of Aibak. He was a slave and son-in-law of Aibak. He was considered as the real consolidator of the Darkis conquest in India, who served as a military commander of Aibak. Iltutmish's family established his control over the territories by suppressing rebellions. He expanded his empire from Bengal to Sindh, Himalaya to Vindhyas. He formed Darkan-i-Jahalkhani. Darkan-i-Jahalkhani means organized group of selective 40 members. Iltutmish introduced Darkan-i-Jahalkhani, Jahalkhani or the 40. Iltutmish introduced Iqtidari system. Iltutmish granted Iqta means land, to members of his army. Iqta is the land granted to army officials in lieu of a regular wage. The Iqta holder is called the Iqtidar or Mukti, who had to provide the Sultan with military assistance in times of war. Iltutmish completed the construction of Qutub Minar started by Aibak. Iltutmish died in April 1236 after ruling for 26 years. As the most capable son of Iltutmish, Rukanuddin Firas, was died. Iltutmish nominated his daughter Rashia Sultan as his successor to the throne of Delhi. Rashia was an able and brave fighter, but she had a tough time with Turkish nobles as she favored non-Turkish nobles. She also faced the situation of the Persian Mongols raiding Punjab during her reign. Rashia made an Ethiopian slave named Jalauddin Yaqut as her personal attendant and started trusting him completely. This led to a revolt of the Turkish nobles. She died in 1240. Let's see Ghiyasuddin Balban. After Russia, 3 weak rulers in succession ascended the throne after the name Ghiyasuddin Balban. Ghiyasuddin Balban from 1266 to 1287. Balban abolished the party as it was hostile to him. He established a department of spies to gather intelligence about the conspirators and the troublemakers against his rule. Darkil Khan, a provincial governor of Bengal, who raised a banner of revolt against Balban, was captured and beheaded. He was ruthless in dealing with enemies like Mewars and Mewat. It means a Muslim Rajput community from northwestern India. Balban, however, took care to maintain cordial relationship with Mongols. He obtained from Guglu Khan, a grandson of Genghis Khan, and the Mongol viceroy in Iran, the assurance the Mongol would not advance beyond Sutlej. Balban built fort to guard his empire against the Mongols' attack. He patronized the famous Persian poet Amir Khusro. Balban died in 1287. Balban's son Kaygubat turned out to be weak. In 1290, Malik Jalauddin Khalji, the commander of the army, assumed the office of Naib. Naib means deputy of the Sultan, and ruled the kingdom in the name of Kaygubat. Then, one day, Jalauddin sent one of his officers and had Kaygubat murdered. Jalauddin then normally ascended the throne. Within him became the rule of Khalji dynasty. Khalji dynasty from 1290 to 1320. Let's see about this dynasty. The great rulers was Jalauddin Khalji and Alauddin Khalji. Jalauddin Khalji from 1290 to 1296. Alauddin Khilji was 1296 to 1316. Let's see about Jalauddin Khalji. There are many military campaigns during the reign of Jalauddin Khalji, but they were mostly organized and led by his nephew Alauddin, the governor of Kara. Alauddin, after defeating the Yadava king Ramachandra, plundered the city and returned with huge wealth. Jalauddin killed by Alauddin. After declared himself as the Sultanate of Delhi in 1296. Let's see about Alauddin. Alauddin Khalji consolidated the Delhi Sultanate. The range of his conquest is impressive in the Punjab, in Rajasthan and in Gujarat. With his northern frontiers secure, he sent his chief lieutenant Malik Kafur into the southern parts, who took even the distant Madurai in 1310. The Yadavas of Devagiri, the Kakatiyas of Warangal, the Kosala of Dwarasamutra and the Pandyas of Madurai accepted Alauddin's sovereignty. Alauddin's political and administrative reforms were as impressive as his military conquest. Alauddin undertook a survey of agrarian resource around his capital and fixed a standard revenue demand. The task of collecting the revenue to the military officers. This measured the local chief and rajas to their time memorial privilege. Alauddin established a system of forced procurement of food grains for Delhi and other Khorasan centers. The procurement prices were fixed and grain collected as tax was stored in state granaries. In order to ensure the enforcement of his new regulations, he employed spies who were responsible to report to him directly. Alauddin died in 1360. The failure of his successor to retain power led to the seizure of power by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, who founded the Tughlaq dynasty. From here started Tughlaq dynasty. Tughlaq dynasty from 1320 to 1414. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq 1322-1324. One of the major tasks of Ghiyasuddin as the Sultan was to recover the territories that the Sultan had lost during the death of Alauddin. Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq sent his son Juna Khan to fight against Warangal. Juna Khan defeated Brataparudra of Warangal and returned with a rich booty. With his looted wealth, Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq is laid the foundation of city Tughlaqabad near Delhi. Juna Khan was said to have killed his father and ascended the throne with the title Muhammad bin Tughlaq in 1325. Muhammad bin Tughlaq from 1325 to 1351. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a learned man. Muhammad dreamed of making the whole of the subcontinent his domain. With the view to facilitating extent, he shifted his capital from Delhi to the center of the kingdom, namely Devagiri. He also changed its name to Tughlaqabad. When Muhammad himself decided that the move was a mistake, he ordered a return to Delhi as the capital again. Tughlaq changed Alauddin's system of revenue collections in grain and ordered that land revenue which was increased should henceforward be collected in money. This proved distress during famines when he discovered that the stock of coins and silver was inadequate for minting. He issued a token currency in copper. As the result, the entire revenue system collapsed. Trade suffered as foreign merchants stopped business. This forced Sultan to withdraw the token currency and pay gold coin and silver coins in exchange. This move led to the state to become bankrupt. As the result, in the outbreak of frequent famines, Tughlaq ruled as Sultan for 25 years. During his long reign, he had to face many revolts to the provincial governors. The governors of Awadh, Multan and Sindh revolted and declared themselves independent. In South India, several states raised. The new Tughlaqabad and the conquered territories around them were declared independent sultanate called Bamini. Madurai was proclaimed a separate sultanate in 1335. Bengal became independent in 1346. Tughlaq died on 23 March 1351. First Shah Tughlaq from 1351 to 1388. First Shah, he was the son of Ghiyasuddin's younger brother and succeeded Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He also showed no interest in reconquering the southern provinces. He refused to accept an invitation from a Bahmani prince. He rewarded Sufis and other religious leaders and listened to their advice. He also created charities to aid poor Muslims, built colleges and hospitals. He adopted many humanitarian measures. He banned inhuman punishments and abolished taxes which are not recognized by Muslim law. He promoted agriculture by weaving of the debates of agriculturists and built many canals for irrigation. He laid out 1200 new gardens and restored 30 old gardens of Alauddin Khalji. He built new towns such as Farshabad, Junapur, Kishar and Farshabur. He had to spend his last days in unhappiness. His own son Muhammad Khan revolted against him and Farsha died in September 1388 at the age of 83. So despite adopting a peaceful approach and taking effort to organize the Sultanate well, Farsha. Let's see about Timur invention. Timur invention started from 1398. Timur of Delhi came a decade after Farsha Tughlaq died. As a ruler of the region around Samarkand in Central Asia, Timur had occupied some parts in the northwest of India. Taking advantage of India's weakness, he entered India in December 1398 and plundered Delhi. Punjab, beside the Delhi city, was the province that suffered most by Timur's raid. Apart from carrying huge wealth in the form of gold, silver, jewels, and also took along Indian artisans like carpenters and to work on monuments in Samarkand. Let's see Sayyid dynasty. Start from 1414 to 1451. Before leaving Delhi, Timur had begun his representative Kisar Khan as the governor of the territories he conquered by him. He founded the Sayyid dynasty in 1414, which lasted till 1451. The last ruler of this dynasty was Alauddin Alam Shah, and he abdicated the throne in 1451. This gave Baghdul Lodi, then the governor of Sirkin, the opportunity to become the new Sultan of Delhi, leading to establishment of Lodi dynasty. Let's see Lodi dynasty. Lodi dynasty from 1451 to 1526. In 1489, Baghdul Lodi was succeeded by his son Sikandar Lodi. Sikandar was a patron of arts and learning. He founded the city of Agra and made it his capital. He died in 1517 and was succeeded by his son Ibrahim Lodi, who was defeated by Babur in 1526 in the Panipat battle. Thus, the Lodi dynasty and the Delhi Sultanate were ended by Babur, who wanted to establish the Mughal Empire in India. Let's see Islamic art and architecture. The high-ranking Muslim nobles, soldiers and officials were built first in cities and the neighborhoods around them. The mosques in the imperial style were constructed by successive Muslim regimes in Delhi. Building looked architecturally different. The graceful decoration of doorways and walls with lines from the Quran made a distinct appearance in this building. The shape of all these buildings was Persian, while the decoration was Indian, so it is called Indo-Saracenic architecture. The student look at some pictures. Gudupinar, Alain Darwaza, Kuwat ul Islam Masjid, Mod Ki Masjid, the tombs of Iltmas, Balban and the port of Tughlaq Park and Farshabad were all constructed in this style. Which style? Indo-Saracenic architecture. These are the example of Islamic art and architecture. Let us recall of this chapter. Establishment of Muslim rule in India by Muhammad Ghori. There are 4 dynasties: Slav dynasty, Ghalji dynasty, Tughlaq dynasty, Sayyid dynasty, Lodi dynasty. Sly dynasty founded by Gupti Aibat and consolidated by his son-in-law Iltutmish. Russia, the daughter of Iltutmish, a brave fighter and a great administrator. Alauddin Khalji was the founder of Khalji dynasty. His military conquests and administrative reforms Farshad Tughlaq as a ruler with his concentration on the well-being of the people. The shaking of Delhi by Timur. Kishore Khan founding the Sayyid dynasty and Baghdul Lodi, the governor of Sirkin, establishing the Lodi dynasty. The first battle of Panipat 1526, who was defeated by Babur in first battle of Panipat. Thus the Lodi dynasty and the Delhi Sultanate were ended by Babur. The students, beginning to end, recall your own way. Thank you. Let's see the book back question.